I'm Syriac.
And I'm Aaron.
And Alex is holding the camera. We're going to show you how to integrate using the tabular method. The tabular method is basically an easier way to integrate so you can avoid integrating by parts. You can only use the tabular method if one of the two integrants could derive to 0. You cannot use e to the x because e to the x will just go in a cycle. It'll just go to e to the x every time. But x could derive to 0.
So then basically you make a little table here where on one side it's derivative and the other side it's integral. And then since x would derive down to 0, you put x on the left side in the derivative column. And you take the derivative of that, which is 1. Then the derivative of 1 is 0. And then on the right side you put e to the x, and you take the integral of that just down to the same level, which just stays e to the x. And then a part of the tabular method is you start positive, and then you
alternate between signs. Negative, positive.
So then you do, to get the answer, you draw an arrow like this, diagonal down, and then you just multiply them together to get the answer. So the answer would be positive x e to the x, and then negative 1 e to the x plus c, which simplifies to x e to the x minus e to the x plus c.
And we're done.
And there's the answer.
So, to use tabular method, we're going to set up our little chart on this side. So, we've got our derivatives on one side and our integrals on the other side. So, for our derivatives, we got to split this up. We want to take the derivative until it gets to 0. So as you can see, cosine x, if we took the derivative, it would keep flipping back and forth between cosine and sine. So that's never going to get us to 0. But we can see x squared, that will get us to 0. So first one, we're going to write x squared, then 2x, then 2, and then 0. So then the other part is we got to keep taking the integral of cosine. So we start off cosine x, sine x, negative cosine x, negative sine x. So our d, we started off squared, so it's cosine x. So here I'm going to write this is going to be our d, and this is going to be our integral. So from this point we're pretty much set. Now on the derivative side, it's just part of the tabular method is we start off with a positive, negative, positive, negative, and that's just part of the method. Then from this point on, we just draw little arrows diagonally like that. And then we just multiply these across, and that's pretty much it. So then we get x squared from here times sine x. Then you get negative 2x times negative cosine, which makes that positive. So then you'll have 2x cosine x, and then you're left with a positive 2 and a negative sign. So positive times negative is negative, minus 2 sine x plus c, because we don't have any limits of integration. And that is how you do tabular method.